Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today spawning on the east side of the map playing in green, we've got Ghosty Meow playing as the Japanese, and his opponent on the west side of the map playing in orange. We've got Kalp playing as Zhu Xi's Legacy. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia, and what is going to be promising to be a fascinating game of Age of Empires 4. Got lots to talk about. Two new civilizations, well I should say one civilization, one sub-faction. We've got a civilization in the Japanese, and I suspect will become a very much fan favourite. At least I predict it will be. It's a very interesting one. Lots to talk about. We already see a barracks being built. And we see a samurai. It's a Dark Age unit for the Japanese. It's a heavy armoured melee unit. And has some really interesting mechanics. Now, when you spot it, it's got a white bar on top of the green. And it is a kind of like a shield, but it's like an armour, deflective armour, that recharges out of combat. So pretty exciting to see this unit. And I mean, I think it's going to become a very iconic unit in Age of Empires 4. There's no doubt about that, really. I can't wait to see this unit in action. And we're going to be having an early bit of harassment for the Zhu Xi Legacy villagers that are just coming out to gold now, looking to get to that feudal age relatively soon. Speaking about feudal age, Zhu Xi Legacy is a civilization that I think will do pretty well in the feudal age. You know, it's a Chinese sub-faction, right? So Chinese, they are very flexible in what they can do. And I think the Zhu Xi Legacy will be very much similar in that regard. They have some interesting units. They've got the early Palace Guard, which is, of course, well, as the name says, it's an early version of the Palace Guard. Palace Guard is a unit for the Chinese faction, or civilization, I should say, in the Castle Age, equivalent to the Man-at-Arms, but these guys get it in the Feudal Age, just like similar to the Holy Roman Empire and the English getting the early Man-at-Arms. You can see the samurai going to be harassing these villagers. Villagers going to have to back away there because it does a decent amount of damage, this guy. You can see 8 melee damage and 10 torch damage if it decides to start burning that mining camp. Now, speaking of mining camps, the Japanese have some really interesting things going on here. As you can see, a unique building for the Japanese. It looks different, but it almost looks like a blacksmith, and you wouldn't be fooled to think maybe it has something to do with that, because it's called a forge, and not only does it act as a drop-off point for mining camps, well, acting as a mining camp really, it also acts as pretty much a blacksmith. And if you look here, a unique set of upgrades for the Japanese. It replaces the kind of attack melee upgrades, but it's got an extra one. You can see 1 out of 4. You guessed it, you get a Dark Age upgrade. Tatara, hopefully I said that right, but it cost 75 gold, 25 stone. So at the end of the game, if you get late Imperial Age, you will actually have an additional 4 melee damage coming out upgraded from the blacksmith for the Japanese. You might be wondering, why is it costing stone? It's a bit awkward, right? Because you can get it from the Dark Age, but who collects stone in the Dark Age? Not many people do that, but take a look at what's happening on top of it. You get +2 stone for every 10 gold dropped off. Interesting mechanic for the Japanese. They get 20% of all gold dropped off being also dropped off with stone. Something else to talk about? Well, you can see a house on the mill. You might be wondering, why would you place a house on the mill? Well, it's because it's not only, it's not like a normal house. It's a farmhouse. It can actually act as a drop-off point for berries and for food generally, and it increases the population. So kind of mixing the mill and the house together, the forge mixing the blacksmith and the mining camp together. Now, the Japanese are going to be going up with the Kokok Township landmark. Now, this is an interesting one. You've been waiting for it. The ninjas, the shinobi, they are out. They're going to be coming out soon from this landmark. They're espionage units. We'll talk about it when they come out, but this is going to be spawning out shinobi as soon as it's built. The Zhu Xi Legacy, they do also get a lot of things that are similar to the Chinese, as you'd expect. They get the village, but they get unique landmarks, and I can't wait to show you them, because we see the meditation gardens coming up here on the southern area. You might be wondering, why has it placed it so far away? And you'd be right to consider, like, kind of question that. Well, it's a very unique landmark. It actually generates resources depending on the type of resources that are nearby, and the more resources that are nearby, the more resources it gets. But there's one caveat: if it's under pressure, if it's under attack, the amount of resources it gets is diminished. See a lot of villagers going on stone there. Count might be thinking about Song Dynasty 2-town center, as you'd usually get with the Chinese. You can see the Imperial official working hard. I do have that unit here for the Zhu Xi Legacy. Now here we go. Samurai moving his way around. Just going to be spotting out what they can. Scout will notice the villagers on stone. It's being supervised by the Imperial official. And I mean, there's actually one other thing I really want to focus on. I mean, I think we're generally with casted games. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overwhelm you guys with, you know, the civilization and what they've got about them. It'll come over time with patience. I'm going to be learning about the civilizations as well. So it will take time, but I can't wait to go into a lot of detail with these civilizations in the future. Talk about meta, talk about strategies versus the standard vanilla civilization. Oh, good trap there by those Zhu Xi Legacy villagers. He should be able to kill that unit, but he might lose a villager doing so if he doesn't pull it away. He does pull it away. Oh, just about, maybe. Who knows? Wait, hang on about. Okay, he gets us around again. Not focusing on that. In any case, hopefully we'll see a shinobi very soon. There it is. There's that beautiful unit. Let's go through and check it out. Look at that. Bish bash bosh. Switching it over to an enemy villager. You see, he's got 3 abilities, right? Acting as a spy at the moment. Has sabotage, which is able to dish out 200 damage on a building. Disable its production and also set it on fire for 30 seconds. And if you can imagine, if you have like a whole group of them, it could be pretty incredible. We actually used his Shunshin, I should say. Dropping that smoke bomb. Pretty much teleporting across the map a little bit. But certainly going to have to get used to the names. Hopefully I'll do it justice. You see a scout popping out there for Kelp just to find out what's going on. And you see another shinobi causing torch damage on the meditation gardens. Now you'll probably notice that the meditation gardens won't be generating as much resources as it possibly was before, because of course it's being attacked now. And I mean, it's so cool to see these new mechanics. Gotta see. Building sabotage. It's not going to be able to produce anything anyway, but it is what it is. Now, looks like maybe the Japanese are being very aggressive. 2 town center is in play for Kalp's Zhu Xi's Legacy. Hopefully I'm saying this name right. I've got to get practice, you know. Now, there is something I really wanted to talk about. Something very interesting for the Japanese civilization. And that is the little upgrades that they get from the town center. I say little, but actually it's pretty huge. You might be wondering what they do with the extra stone they might have. They can invest it. You can get the Daimyo Manor, Daimyo Palace, and the Shogunate Castle. This gives you so many good bonuses. It gives the extra Bannerman Samurai population capacity. You might be wondering, what is a Bannerman Samurai? We'll talk about that if we see a unit on the field, and if we get a chance to, hopefully if I remember. But more importantly, it gives you a free villager. Also increases the health of the town center by 1000 HP. Adds an additional arrow slit, and increases the harvest rate by farms 25%. Now, if you increase it by the Daimyo Palace upgrade, it gives you +2 for the population caps. Gives you, basically an upscaled version of all those extra bonuses you got for the first tier. But what you would really want to notice for the Shogunate Castle upgrade is the extra 75% harvest rate from villagers that are on the farms. Now, you guys know I love farming. It's in the name, obviously. A 75% sounds a little bit crazy. Well, maybe it is. We'll have to see how strong that really is. But back into the action. I don't want to miss it. Ghosty Meow setting the meditation gardens on fire just with a couple of shinobi. It's actually quite impressive how much damage it's doing. Now, it's getting torch damage out of this, right? It's getting 10 torch damage, which is the same as a villager. But don't forget, with each ability that it's using, it's getting 200 damage per sabotage ability being spent by the shinobi. And this guy can even use it again. So it's actually really powerful. Now we see the military coming in for Kelp. We got the early palace guards, and we got the Jugunu, which is incredibly nice to see as an army composition for the Zhu Xi's Legacy. I think we'll see it quite often, and I'm pretty excited to see how well they do against the Japanese. It's going to clear this up. It's going to keep up the meditation gardens alive with these 2 villagers coming out for those repairs. But a lot of damage coming out for the Japanese. It feels like the Japanese are going to be very kind of aggressive. You can see the Onna Bugeisha coming out on the map for the Japanese. A light infantry unit. You can see how fast they move. They move quick time. 1.5 movement speed, 7 melee attack, and 13 torch damage. It looks like they're going to be attacking those villagers on gold again. This gold thing just, holy moly, it's been on attack the whole game. A couple of shinobi coming in back there. It might just like the... Oh, will he get the... Oh, a bit of a misclick there. I mean, sometimes you see pro players do this, that they kind of pull the villagers back and they go back up to gold, expecting the town centers to kill them. But these guys are really fast. They keep up, and he's going to be able to get out of there with his life still intact. Now, before I forget, let's talk about Bannerman, shall we? Let's take a quick look. So you got Bannerman for the kind of melee infantry, and also ranged infantry, and also cavalry. So let's take a look. It's a samurai, which well, this is the melee one at least, with an aura. They all have an aura, which increases the damage here for the melee infantry. but it comes with also a deflective armor ability that periodically blocks attacks. I would love to see it in action. Maybe we will. We'll have to see. But for now, talking about an action, Zhu Xi Legacy pushing the army back with the Chukanu and the early palace guards. All right, we might see a bit of a break in the action now, and I just want to take this advantage to say everyone that's supporting the channel, whether it be just giving the videos a thumbs up, which is incredibly helpful, by the way. It really does make a big difference. But also the YouTube channel members, you guys have been absolutely fantastic in supporting, going the extra mile to help me continue content creation for Age of Empires 4. I really, really appreciate you very, very much. And hopefully going to be bringing you lots of content. I mean, I would say, you know what? I'm going to try and make a playlist of all the new Sultans Ascend DLC casted games I'm going to do. Make it really easy for you guys, because I'm going to be posting loads, guys. Maybe like 3 or 4 casted games a day for about like good 1 or 2 weeks. So it might be becoming a little bit overwhelming. If you want to keep a track on them, I'll keep it as a playlist so you can just kind of watch the ones that you've missed. And because I'm going to try and make each an individual video quite informative about the civilizations themselves, and also showcase some good games, hopefully. We've seen a decent game so far, a bit of aggression here from the Japanese, making Kaup having to play a bit more defensively. He's got 2 town centers, Song Dynasty. The villager count is going to start to rise pretty nicely for them. And we've got the other feudal age counterpart landmark, the Jiangnan Tower, that you can basically it acts as pretty much as a drop off there for the imperial officials. But you also be able to receive a free unit at the tower whenever a barracks or production building is built, which is pretty cool. And you also get a free villager when the town center is completed if you get an extra one. Doesn't sound like a lot, and it probably isn't, but it's just a little bit of a boost, right? Now this is an issue for Kaup because he was getting free resources from the meditation gardens, but it's not going to be there for much longer. It's going to lose us this time for sure. It feels difficult for him to defend this now. But we shall see what he has up his sleeve, whether he's able to protect this area or not. But yeah, certainly I think, with these 2 new civilizations, I should say, to play in Age of Empires 4. I'd love to hear from you guys. Which are you looking the like... Oh, well, wait. Liking the look of. Yeah, it's that way around. Which ones are you looking like? Wait, words. It's very late for me, but anyway. Which ones are you liking the look of? Third time lucky. Let me know in the comment section below. Is it going to be Zhu Xi's Legacy for you guys? Or is it going to be the Japanese? I think it's got to be Japanese, right? I don't know. I mean, I think Zhu Xi's Legacy is going to be really nice, but the fact that you got a full brand new civilization is just kind of amazing. But I think generally, Zhu Xi's Legacy is going to mix things up a lot. I can't wait to see the early palace guards more in action, and also the new landmarks as well. So it's a pretty nice addition. Now the outpost is not going to be able to get the arrow slits in time, and even if it does, it doesn't really matter at this point. It's pretty much dead. Villagers going to have to back away from there, and you might have heard that little ringing of the town bell. And yep, you heard it. There is a town bell feature now. But it's going to focus on the aggression here, because Chukanu on the back line with the early palace guards on the front lines going to be trying to dish out a lot of damage against the Onna Bugeisha as much as they can. They're chasing them down. Look how fast they go. Holy, it's pretty fast. Right, well, gonna dive in that town center like it's no one's business. And villagers are gonna start to garrison in 2 town centers though, so that's pretty nice safety for them, I should say. I should think like it's pretty decent. Like I don't think he's gonna be able to kill him with this push, but it's keeping a lot of villagers idle. Right, 23 villagers. He is about 6 or 7 villagers behind, and there's a hard farming transition. Holy moly, those Jukanus are going to rip through those units. Got good blacksmith upgrades after all. Steeled arrow and iron and the mesh there for Kaup. Back at home, the reason why I wanted to talk about the Daimyo Palace and upgrades is because that's exactly what Ghosty Meow has been doing. You see he's got the Daimyo Palace already. All that's left is the Shogunate Castle. So he's going to get that farming transition. Look at the radius for the boosting of the farms. It's actually really significant, right? It's an interesting one because it means that really for base building, you don't really want to build too much around your primary town center in the early game, but also you kind of want to because you need protection for your production buildings, right? Like if you're, I mean, I think if you're aggressive as a Japanese, this is why this is working quite nicely, right? You can create a lot of space around your town center. In fact, he deletes the barracks. Ghosty Meow, he actually deletes the barracks, relocates it a bit further forward because he wants to put farms here, right? So take advantage of that farming harvesting rate that's just been increased. Alright, well, interestingly enough, he's actually already got 1 of 3 landmarks to snipe if he wants to get that landmark victory, which could be coming in We shall see. Because in terms of military-wise, though, Ghosty Meow did lose a lot, right? He's killed 21 villagers, which is actually really impressive, but he kind of had to because he's going up against 2 town centers. So it's a really interesting dynamic where Ghosty Meow had to get damage, and he kind of did. So it's kind of evening out, but the trouble is that second town center Song Dynasty might become a problem if it's left unchecked for too much longer. But here comes the early palace guards versus the hardened samurai. Hardened samurais get that victory. No real surprises when you consider the numbers there. I certainly hope you've all been enjoying the casted game today in particular. And if you have, do feel free to subscribe to the channel and hitting that notification bell, because of course I'll be casting a lot more. That is for sure. Imperial officials, hard at supervising. Does the same thing as it does for the Chinese, collecting tax, supervising, keeping the Chinese war machine going. Alright, well, let's take a look at this upgrade. For Dashashi, third technology upgrade increases the carry capacity of villages by +3 and their movement speed by +7, and a 25% gather speed from, or gather rate rather, from berry bushes. Something that he's not looking to get. Oh, hey, hello. We've got the Yumi Bannerman, the light ranged infantry, the light ranged Bannerman, which actually increases the damage of ranged infantry and comes with a deflective armor similar to the melee, but of course it's only affecting the ranged units. You got the one for the melee, and you also got the one for the cavalry. I'd love to see a cavalry unit. There's a Katana Bannerman for the melee infantry. A couple of shinobis heading into the fight as well. I do see a Yumi Ashigaru. So we should talk about this actually. It's a light ranged infantry. It's actually cheaper than a regular archer. But I believe it does a little bit less damage. I can't quite remember the stats of a regular archer now. Usually I'd come prepared and let you know, but just take my word on it. It's cheaper, but it does a little bit less in terms of how much it packs a punch. So a regular archer would cost 50 wood, but this is only costing 35 wood. And so it's going to be pumping out lots of units. Needs to catch up, really. It's behind on units. Kalp steadily building that villager lead. He's got the... wow, that's a very big farming transition around the granaries. But he's going to be attacked very soon. Let's take a look at the farming transition there for Ghosty Meow. Now, he does have the Shogunate Castle. These farms are gathering at 75% increased harvest rate. Actually bonkers when you think about it. Let's take a look at the... you see the gather speed, or the gather rate's looking so good there for the Japanese. He's only got a handful of farms. Well, I mean, to be fair, 21 is quite a decent number. When you compare it to what Kalp has, Kalp's got 35, and yeah, that's kind of a crazy upgrade, right? But it did cost him 1,200 stone at the end of the day. A couple of units being lost there by Ghosty Meow. Has rebuilt that meditation garden, so it's on fire though. It's kind of interesting, right? Because he has to always pull out a villager now. Although actually, I'm not sure how long that fire lasts for, whether it extinguishes itself. I don't think it does. I think he actually is forced to actually rebuild or repair that. In any case, we're going to be going up to the Castle Age for the Japanese with the floating gate. One of 2 religious landmarks that the Japanese get. Unlocks a Shinto priest and places a Yorishiro in buildings for special enhancements. That actually comes out with a little package there at the door. Hopefully when we see that, we'll talk a bit about that later on. For now, villagers working hard to get that built. Maybe he didn't have to get a villager, I'm not sure. We didn't get to see that. In any case, it's going to be the Castle Age coming out for the Zhu Xi's Legacy, controlled by Kalp. Gonna go with the Mount Lu Academy. Right, let's take a look at this one. The Imperial officials collect tax twice as often and also collect 20% of taxes as food. Interesting. Get a bit of food income there with that. Contains unique upgrades to improve the Imperial official. So it's going to really focus on that Imperial official unit. Get single whip reform. Imperial officials move 50% faster. Get out of action quickly if they need to. Regional inspection. Supervision by Imperial officials improved from 150% to 300%. I think that's probably got to be one of your first ones to get, right? It's really looking pretty good there. Military Affairs Bureau. Imperial officials can now supervise keeps and outposts to reduce damage taken by 35%. So it's going to be a focus for attack for our enemies, that's for sure. And the Imperial Red Seals. Imperial official limit increased by +2. Grants an Imperial official upon completion. That's pretty nice, isn't it? Pretty expensive though. 200 food, 400 gold. But you will get an Imperial official out of it, right? When you factor in how much an Imperial official actually costs. Just offhand, 100 food, 50 gold. It's 100 food, 350 gold for the actual research on its own. Here come the Japanese army, though, looking to dish out some damage. Let's see what he's got. He's got a couple of bannermen, as you can see, mostly on the Bugeisha. He's got a couple of these Yumi Ashigaru. Pretty mixed army composition here. Gonna dive in. He's looking feisty. He wants to fight. He wants to fight. The Chukunu on the back line, they are veteran upgraded. Got a couple of early, or just regular palace guards now on the front lines, but they're getting kind of sliced to dice by the veteran samurai. The Ashigaru on the back line, focusing on those Chukunu. They're dishing out a lot of damage, fighting underneath 2 outposts. It looks like equal numbers, but it looks like Ghosty Meow taking the fight and he's slaying. Holy smokes, he's dishing out all sorts of damage. The light melee infantry taking a lot of damage on those Chukunu. The Chukunu have to back away now. There's no real meat shield here for Cap. Doesn't have enough of those palace guards, I'm afraid. Going to try and get the barracks now for those palace guards, but it might be too little too late. Looks like the Japanese going to camp underneath the Chinese outpost, or I should say Zhu Xi's Legacy's outpost, or town centers rather, and he's taking a lot of arrow fire, but he does have iron undermesh, which will help him out a little bit. But he's keeping 41 villagers idled. Like that's significant. I gotta say, it's pretty significant. And sending more units flooding across the map. You can see it on the minimap, a flood of green, and we might just see the tap up, but it's looking pretty bad here for Cap, I has to say. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. He taps out. The Japanese take the game on Dry Arabia. Fantastic game, fantastic civilizations. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure you check out the other videos covering the Sultans Ascend DLC for Age of Empires 4. Take care, and see you next time.